Dun, 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 dun. Sorry about that. Hi and welcome to this new video. Just going for a bit of an epic introduction there because we've got a ridiculously long box for not that big a kit, as it turns out. What we have here is a Revell Easykit level 1, which means snap together. Pre-painted, no glue, snap together. It's as entry level as a model kit gets. And this particular kit is an ATRT, which is an all-terrain recon transport. And we've got a nice picture of Darth glaring menacingly as he does very well, and we've got some really nice box art showing the ATRT plodding along a foresty kind of place that looks a bit Endorish. I've not seen this in any of the films. It's very clearly ATST based, but on a much smaller scale. And I've not seen this in any of the films. I don't know if it is in any of the films or if it's maybe in the extended Star Wars universe. I don't know if it's canon or if it's just been made by somebody or whatever, but I thought it looked kind of cool when I saw it. So I went ahead and grabbed it, and as despite the fact that it's a snap together pre-painted kit, it is of course not going to remain that way. I intend to paint this, and I'm going to go for a kind of beaten up weathered armour kind of look to it. That's the plan anyway. That's the plan as it stands. Sides of the box, nothing interesting. A repeat of the box art and some words. Back of the box, here are some more Star Wars kits, what you can buy from us. And I don't know if all of these are level 1. I think all of these are Easykit, Revell Easykits, and some of the ones you will recognise from the prequels. So as I say, I don't know if perhaps this was in one of the films and I just missed it. I don't know. I mean, sort of shout out and mention it in the comments below if I did, and I will go back and re-watch it just out of curiosity, even if it's one of the really, really awful prequel films. That's how dedicated I am. So yeah, so we're going to open the box and see what we've got inside. We've got things, we've got bags, and we've got words. Typical crappy Revell box, super thin, already pre-squashed as you can see. But if you've watched my previous videos, you'll know about my particular dislike for Revell kit boxes. We've got some nice coloured instructions. ATRT, all-terrain recon transport. The separatist movements make their presence felt throughout the galaxy. It is not only on Coruscant that it ends in conflict. Coruscant, I'm not sure. The Republic uses on various planets machines specially designed for their particular environment in order to defend Kashyyyk, the home planet of the Wookiees and the Chewbaccas, against attack of the Confederate droid army. Among other things, the Army of the Republic has recourse to ATRTs. With a weight of 400 kilos, originally designed purely for reconnaissance purposes, this 75 km/h transport proves to be extremely effective and useful against enemy infantry units, not least thanks to the cannon located in the front of the ATRT. So it's clearly very well thought out. In true Revell style, we have the sprue callouts, which is fabulous. I love these, as you know. And then your typical box by box, step by step, bit by bit build with all your numbered panels, 1, 2, etc. And right up to the very last page where it shows the fitting the figure onto the machine. Very straightforward, nothing exciting about that. So we'll unbag this, and I'll tell you now, this kit is kind of like bagception or kitception. It's bags within bags within bags and sprues within bags and stuff. So, to save you the boredom of staring at that, I'm just going to kind of whip them all out and we'll come back in a moment. So here we are with everything unbagged. Oddly, now oddly, despite the fact that it shows the sprue callouts, numerous parts are separate from the sprue. As you can see, there's parts removed there, and there are parts removed here, for example, and they are present, they are here in the kit, but I don't know whether they're removed because they're pre-painted, but then you kind of, it's an odd thing because you've got pre-painted bits here on the sprue, and then you've got pre-painted bits here off the sprue, so I don't know why that is, but all the parts are there, and you can match them up with the relevant sprue pictures. So oddly, there is that, but they are all individually bagged to stop them getting scratched up or what have you, which is quite nice, I guess. But we'll go through them. So first of all, we've got the rider. Now, this is interesting because I was intending to repaint the rider, but as you can see, it's kind of rubbery rather than plasticky. So, you know, it's a bit of a tricky one. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with that, whether I'm actually going to try repainting it. I might just try brush painting it. We'll see how that goes. So I'm going to pop him aside for the moment. There we go. And we'll have a look at the sprue parts, which are very nice and crisply moulded, as these Star Warsy type kits tend to be. Overly exaggerated detail, which is the norm if you've ever built any of the Revell TIE fighters or what have you. If you actually look back on my video history, you will see some TIE fighters that I built that are Revell kits. So you can see that the detail is kind of overblown, over exaggerated, but perfect for the subject matter. Because obviously that's the nature of the sci-fi universe. But we've got very nicely crisply moulded parts, the cannon on the front there, which I will be modifying a little bit. I think I'm going to chop quite a bit off the end of that so I can drill out the end and make it look like an actual cannon muzzle, because I'm going to sort of aim for a beat up sort of armour idea rather than a futuristic sci-fi thing. So this bit here, which I thought was a cannon, I think is actually part of the propulsion system or the engine. I'm not entirely sure. Where it comes to the technical aspects of all these things and how they're supposed to work and all that guff, I'm pretty much hopeless, I'll be honest. I don't really know what's what with that. I mean, I know things like that TIE stands for twin ion engine and such, but how things are supposed to work, I'm not that into the whole thing enough to sort of know. But we've got some more bits here, and the bits that are pre-painted, I suspect they're actually printed rather than painted, kind of like what do they call it? There's a name for it where it's sort of rolled on and printed. I forget the name off the top of my head. Hopefully somebody out there knows it. I might remember it before the end of the review video. But it looks sort of like that rather than actually painted. And it is quite nicely done, although it's a bit boring, to be honest. And built as is, I think it would be far, far too clean looking. So it's definitely going to get a bit of a clean up and a repaint. So as you can see, we've got these bits down here, obviously the feet, and these are, you know, they're pre-painted to a degree, and that's where the big gaping gap is because some bits are missing. I suspect that's where these bits come from, because it looks like there's two parts missing there. I may be wrong, who knows. But anyway, and then the underside of the feet, which are going to get beaten up and weathered a bit more than that. And then the final sprue, we've got this, which is clearly the front section where the rider sits, kind of here. with a nice bit of groin armour. Excellent. And again, over-exaggerated bits and pieces, but you know, it's all cool, it's all in keeping with the theme. We've got foot plates, they look like, up there. Yeah, so that's obviously where the rider's feet fasten to, where he's pressing on the pedals to operate the thing. And then we've got some quite funky painted up things down here in grey and red. I don't know what that is, but it looks cool, I like it. And handlebars maybe down here. I'm not entirely sure. As I say, I'm not very au fait with what the bits are supposed to be exactly, apart from the obvious ones like the foot plates and such. So that's the sprues, that's the kit contents, that's the instructions, and that is where we're at with this one. Not too complicated, and I will probably pre-assemble it first, just to kind of see how I'm going to go about the paint job and see which bits need painting which colour, because it's not unlike a model where you can visualise how it's going to go together. With this, because it's one I'm not familiar with, I will need to double check it and see. So that's the start of this one. So bye for now, guys, and we will catch you in the next video. May the force be ever in your favour, or whatever. Catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye! Right, hi guys, and in the next step of the ATRT Walker, unusually for the model kit builds that I tend to do, what I have done is almost completely assembled the kit. The reason being that this is an unfamiliar kit, and it was actually surprisingly tricky to fit some of the pieces, to figure out which pieces were which, especially with some of the bits being taken off the sprue. Considering this is an Easykit and is aimed for sort of young modelers with the whole concept of snap fit and not needing to paint, that side of it was easy certainly, but actually figuring out which bits went where were not so easy, as it turns out, and trying to figure out which bits were which and orientate them, which bits, and trying to figure out which bits were which and get the orientation right. So yeah, surprisingly tricky for some of the bits, but because it wasn't immediately obvious which bits went where, I realised that what I needed to do was assemble the kit to an almost completion stage so that I could see which bits were which and which bits would need painting as sub-assemblies and which could be left together. So what the next step is to break it down into 3 or 4 sub-assemblies, and at which point I will give everything a quick clean over and a bit more of a fine sort of sand. I've sanded a few nubs and trimmed a few bits here and there. It's going to need a few bits gluing together and a bit of filler, such as the middle claw of the feet, for example, and a few little bits and pieces. A little bit of filler, a bit of sanding and smoothing, and then I can get some primer on this and think of a paint job. So this is going to be quite a fun one, and I think I'm going to probably do a bit of salt chipping on this. In addition to that, I'm also going to alter the aerials on the back here, the cannon on the front. I'm just going to sort of chop and make some minor adjustments to make it look a bit more machine gun and a bit less laser cannon. And with the aerial, I want to get rid of these sort of little nubs on the top and make them look a bit more like a traditional whip aerial and what have you. So so yeah, it's quite interesting, this. I'm still not sure what's going to how things are going to go with the figure, with him being quite a rubbery kind of character, as explained previously. He's very sort of rubbery and flexible, so I don't know what I'm going to do regarding paint for that. But at the moment I'm just going to focus on the walker and get that cleaned up and ready for a slightly more interesting paint job, hopefully. So thank you for watching so far, and join us in the next one.